look, I'm a business owner. I understand that the bottom line and return on investment and the marketing impact that media can have and that social media can have on our business is something we always have to watch. And when ratings are down, as they are with the NFL this year, and people start questioning a lot of things about how the league is run and the interest of fans in the league waning, of course, if I was one of the owners, I could understand and I would relate to their concerns when players start doing things like kneeling for the national anthem, and it raises concerns from military and fans and people that come to the games or watch the games for entertainment value and don't appreciate those political stands or social stands being taken. It's a question mark. So I think it's definitely a healthy discussion and debate. It's encouraging and I think positive that the league management as well as owners and players got together on a couple of occasions now formally to sit down and have kind of round table, open forum discussions and hear each other out. In one of the last meetings last week, as you might have heard, the owner of the Houston Texans, Bob McNair, had an interesting quote that you could see here, that the inmates can't run the prison, was what he said. And obviously some of the people in the meeting that were players of different racial backgrounds and dissents took that as a major insult. And in fact, his team, when they heard that and it got back to them within a day or two, literally walked out of the facility and were ready to essentially protest or walk from the team. Obviously, after big players and coaches meetings, and multiple apologies from the owner, they came around and ended up playing this past weekend. But as you'll see in one of the graphics we have coming up, all the players did take a knee for the Texans during this past week. So, I mean, what was that? That kind of commentary, is that really indicative of what these owners are truly feeling? That, they kind of call the shots and the players should do what it is they say and what they want? Yeah, I mean, I think there is a major issue with that, and it's something that the players' union and the players themselves realize. We actually do have not just social currency, we have some power at the table here, and we want to leverage that power to have our voices and our issues and concerns be heard. We're part of this league. We're part of this $15 billion of annual revenue and value as the entertainers that are putting their health and, I wouldn't say lives, but certainly their health and their skills and what they have to offer. One of the things they have to offer on the field is what provides the value. So it's good that they have a seat at the table, and that when someone makes a comment, obviously an ignorant comment like this, that they're called out for it. And in my view, this is part of a real old school kind of way of thinking, and a lot of folks that think that way are, I believe, the ones that are upset with the fact that how dare people kind of come out of line and express views that are, outside of kind of the box or what the organization or institution is supposed to stand for. What's interesting to me is one of the other owners and the ringleader, so to speak, of the owners, Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, that are the most valuable franchise from a business, revenue, and valuation-wise. They're worth over $4 billion. And I was proud, I'm actually a Cowboys fan, and I was proud to see the Cowboys players, coaches, and even owner himself kneeling the weekend after Trump made his commentary a few weeks back. And you can see here in the picture that he's really not very comfortable doing this. Ironically, within a week after that, he's the one that tried to do two things. Jones tried to, and is still trying to, mandate and have the league create a policy where players have to stand for the anthem or else they'll be fined or suspended. And so he's pretty much enacting and voicing and backing the Trump kind of point of view on this and philosophy. And he's actually made a statement to his own team and coaches that if any player kneels, any Cowboys player kneels for the anthem, they'll be kicked off the team. So again, the old school mentality, command and control, and I'm the warden of this prison, so to speak. Not that being an NFL player and making millions of dollars a year is any kind of prison. These guys obviously have their own freedom of career choice, and I don't think anyone's going to feel sorry for them in the position they have. So it's not really a question of that. It's a question of what this kind of wider context is, and I believe the NFL's position of now embracing the players, at least even if it's in a lukewarm fashion, and inviting them to the table and saying we want to empower them to allow their concerns to be heard, and we actually want to work with them in the communities to help them make society a better, more functional, safer place for everybody. And it's not obviously an easy task, but it's something that these role models, like it or not, as an athlete with the social currency and the media attention you have, whether you intended it or not, you are a role model. What you do, what you say, people will pay attention to. Young kids are going to copy it. In fact, what we see here with the kneeling, it's happening not just at the professional level. This is now down into college, into high school, into youth sports, where I've heard multiple stories, and you could read about it online, of kids at soccer games, basketball, football, every sport, making their position and their feelings known and realizing that they can actually have a choice and don't just have to do whatever everyone else is doing or whatever they're told. And again, there's a question mark of, is this a divisive issue? Is this going to divide us? And sure, it may raise some emotions and some tensions, but I believe it's actually a very healthy discussion point and debate, and you're taking this entertainment platform and actually getting people to think instead of just zoning out for 3 or 5 hours on a Sunday to watch the game and cheer for whichever team you bet on or whoever your fantasy players play for, which is all good fun and things that certainly there's nothing wrong with. But to have to actually have that moment, even if it's for 5 minutes and 10 minutes, and think about social and political and kind of real life issues instead of just being geared towards a total diversion, I think is a very healthy thing, especially for a culture and a society where political education and just awareness isn't necessary, and engagement isn't necessarily the highest. So be it. If we can use a platform where there is a lot of engagement, like media and sports, to create more conversation, understanding, and awareness, that's a really healthy and positive thing. So I'm happy that the league is at least saying they're going to be open to supporting the players. I'm happy that they haven't tried to enforce a standing for the anthem policy, although obviously certain owners are able to do that within their own teams. It really makes me not want to be a Cowboy fan anymore, and I've had a lot of other reasons to question their leadership and ownership, and this just kind of adds to the pot. So I'm gonna boycott wearing my Cowboys jersey until at least one more player makes some kind of vocal statement and kind of rebels against that command and control style leadership. And again, look, I'm the owner of companies and I've people working with me, for me, but again, that's not my philosophy. I believe everyone kind of has to have a little freedom. Obviously, there are certain rules and structures in any organization, which the owners of those organizations have the right to set forth, and then people have the choice to either be part of that philosophy or not. So talking about the business side of things and the league being concerned about its revenues and its ratings, I don't think any of us should cry for the NFL. As you can see from this graphic here, of all sports franchises across the world, and this is a bit of a dated graphic, so that 13 billion is actually 15 billion per year in revenue now. The value of these franchises basically range from $1 billion to $4 billion, whereas when someone like Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys in 1989, it was worth a couple of $100 million. So kudos to him for being a brilliant marketer and businessman, or at least timing the market well when this thing has skyrocketed in 30 years or less. And so I really wouldn't be too concerned for the owners or the players or anyone involved, even the sponsors, whether they choose to continue their sponsorships or not. Is an extremely valuable commodity, as are all the franchises. So, of course, there's a greed factor there, and people expect endless and constant growth, which certainly isn't natural and sustainable. So I think, the NFL could use a little bit of a correction in all their key metrics and revenue figures and things of that nature. And I don't think the league's going away, but certainly it would be good to see a positive evolution in terms of things like player safety, and then these kind of social issues being addressed through player, owner, league partnership, which is certainly a possibility. Again, another issue in this field is how the fans are reacting, right? And you've seen some different things. Like, for example, Aaron Rodgers called for fans in Green Bay to link arms as a sign of unity, not just from the players, but from the fans and the community. And again, mixed response, but as you can see here, a number of them responded, and I think that's a real positive message. It's a positive message that, look, we're all in this together. Whether we agree or not on every detail is not as important as the fact that everyone's looking for peace, everyone's looking for their bit of prosperity and happiness, and there's no reason why we can't consider everyone's needs and point of view. Then you get the reactionary fans, like this guy here in Kansas City holding up this sign to protest on your own time. And I find it interesting that this point of view that let's just focus on the game, and if you're a player, focus on doing your job, which is playing for your team, and basically don't go outside that box. But when you see players doing positive things, like unquestionably positive things, like raising millions of dollars for hurricane victims, as J.J. Watt, as one example for the Houston Texans, the very same Houston Texans we were just talking about, raised over $37 million just by using his social currency and putting out some tweets, getting on some TV shows, and obviously helping during a very critical time a city and communities that were in desperate need, of help and support and financial aid and other kinds of support. And I don't hear anyone or the same guy that's holding up the sign there telling the player to do that on your own time. What about efforts like this, where players are using their social currency to help their communities in ways that they can? I really don't see that as much different than trying to raise awareness on social injustice and issues of that nature. So again, just a reminder here, these athletes that might have a 5-7 year life cycle in the league, even a player like Watt has been injured now 2 years in a row. Who knows how much time he has left before he's going to be retired, and all his media value and currency and platform essentially to kind of be a star are going to likely reduce after that, unless he's able to reinvent himself in some post-playing profession, like being a commentator or a business owner of some kind. You only have that small window. You only have that window. Just like a politician that's in office and has cameras on them for 4 years or 8 years, these players have that window as well. So I'm happy to see them use it wisely and for more than just showing off their latest touchdown dance or sneaker sponsorship promotion, again, which are all cool and fun things, things that people are going to watch and mimic. So when someone brings up some serious issues and topics, it's something that I respect and certainly encourage for these guys, and we're seeing the impact that it's having. We're going to leave it there for now. It's something we'll come back to obviously regularly. We like the topic of sports and its effect on society. It's obviously a key part of our culture, and has some business and marketing implications as well. So ties into everything we're representing here. And again, seeing these players cross boundaries and become political, social activists or heroes in their community by raising funds and helping, during these crises like the hurricanes is exactly the definition of what, a polymath is and does. Someone that thinks holistically and goes beyond being kind of singular or one-dimensional in their life and in their profession. So something we certainly appreciate. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back with some concluding thoughts.